and then moving on, we had Tesla on our agenda, and more specifically regarding Tesla, a analysis was out by ARK, and they projected where Tesla would be in the next 5 years or so. So we wanted to take a deeper look into this. So let's see what they had to show.
Absolutely. And this is one of the interesting topics that we felt needed to be addressed. First of all, we also got a request from one of our viewers to talk about this. So
Yep.
again, just in response to that, we want to make sure that whenever someone asks us to address something, that's at the forefront of our agenda. So um, beyond the whole Kathy Wood situation, because we got this as a request, we wanted to talk about it specifically. But obviously, Kathy Wood has been known as one of the biggest Tesla bulls. So it's interesting to see, and any changes in price targets that her fund is giving. So let's read through this right here. So just to start off and say, feel free to interject as we go
Yep.
along here. But so let's just start from the top. Last year, ARK estimated that 2024 Tesla's share price would hit about $7,000 per share, which after adjusting for the 5-to-1 stock split that happened last year is about 1,400. And then based on our updated research, they're saying that they now estimate that it could approach $3,000 in 2025. So that's a significant upgrade from 1,400 that they were initially projecting, right? So
Yep.
they explained that to arrive at this forecast, ARK used a Monte Carlo model with 34 inputs, high and low forecast incorporating 40,000 possible simulations. So that is quite a bit there. And our bull and bear price targets are at the top and bottom quartiles, outcomes from the simulations as shown below. So let's look at this. So 2025, so that's basically 4 years down the road.
4
right?
years. Yep. Yep.
So their base case is $3,000 per share. Their bear case is 1,500, and their bull case is 4,000. So we'll keep in mind Tesla's shares right now trade at I think around $700 a share, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, there's a lot of volatility going on right now, but I think ballpark that's roughly what it's trading at. So even in their bear case, they're expecting it to more than double really over the next few years. Which for any stock, I know we've been spoiled over the last little while where you see like 50% moves in a day, but
Yep.
a double in a few years is absolutely amazing. So they said that there's a 25% probability that Tesla could be worth 1,500 per share or less in 2025. So I mean, worst case scenario, 25% chance being allotted to this, and it doubles. So clearly they're very bullish on it, and you see from the very start of this article that it's no different now. So
Yep.
let's continue just go through that. So again, let's look at some of their numbers here. Cars sold in millions. So in 2020, it's 0.5, so 500,000. Their bear case is 5 million cars sold, and their bull case is 10 million. Now, their bull case, I understand this is a bull case, but I think 10 million over the next few years might be a little overly ambitious. I mean, hey, funnier things have happened, but I don't know. I think that seems quite high. But again, it's a bull case, right?
One
I'd
thing
say,
though, they wanna get rid of fossil fuels, right? Like gas cars, right? So I think maybe could be a
yeah,
possibility.
yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's definitely possible. But I think one of the things, and we'll address this a little bit later, is the fact that like Tesla right now stands alone, right? So I think
Yeah.
as EVs continue to get more widespread adoption, like you're going to have more competitors, right? And it's going to take away
Yep.
market share from Tesla. So
Yep.
I mean, that's something to keep in mind. I don't know if 10 million is attainable, but it is a bull case, so let's run with that assumption. Selling price $50,000 in 2020, bear case 45,000, and bull case 36,000. So again, this is going to have a lot of implication on whether or not they're actually going to achieve that car sold projection. Because
Yep.
if they're not able to cut down their selling price to something that's more affordable for the average American, then that bull case is going to be out the window, right? So
Yes.
it's important to keep that in mind. And then just looking at their other revenue streams here, their insurance revenue, the human-driven ride revenue, and the autonomous ride haul revenue. Like the autonomous thing, I think is still a ways to go, right? Like even in the bull
Right.
case, it's 327. Yeah, like I still think they're a long ways away, and I think they've reflected that in their bear case. So I think like they've put $0 there, right? So
Yeah.
they are factoring in The fact that it is a little bit of a reach right now to have that autonomous revenue, but um, yeah, there is an element where I'm like, okay, maybe they're a little bit overly optimistic, but
Yeah.
then like they also incorporate areas where they are conservative.
Right.
Um, gross margins, right? So 21% right now. They're projecting in 4 years in the bear case, they're able to get to 43% and then eventually at 50%. Now, I know Elon's channeling a lot of his efforts to cut down and ensure his margins are getting better year over year.
Right.
But again, from 21 to 50% in like 4 years, I don't know, right? I'm skeptical. Even 43%, more than doubling your margins, right? So um, I don't know particularly whether that's attainable, and the same goes for the EBITDA margin, right? So
Yeah.
um, it's interesting there. In their bear case, they're saying 31%, and their bull case is 30%. I don't know what the intricacies are in there,
Yeah.
um, but
And then
yeah, no,
market
yeah,
cap looks interesting too. If you look at it,
yeah,
like 1,500 billion to which is the bear case, and then
yeah,
4,000 billion, which is the bull case. That's quite a difference there. But again, as we said before, they are bullish on Tesla, and even the bear cases prove that. And one thing to note is the share prices too, as we said before. So right now it's sitting at around $700 per share, right? And in the bear case, so like the worst possible case, it's at 1,500 per share, and that's double pretty much, right? More than double actually, if I do the math correctly. And that's the bear case. So I don't know if this is like sustainable for the next 4 years, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on the share price?
again, like share price, I look at market cap,
Right.
currently sitting at 673 billion, all the way to 4 trillion. I don't know, like that seems a little bit overly ambitious to me, especially with the competitors coming in. So I think they will have to deal with strict competition as they continue to grow. And I think one thing that I forgot to mention earlier as well is that the gross margins, like if they are planning on cutting their prices down to become a more affordable vehicle, right? Like that's going to affect their margins. So I think like can Elon cut his cost down enough where even if you go from $50,000 of a selling price to 36, you're still able to double your margins, right? Like those are just things that stand out to me
Right.
at first glance. But hey, it's Elon Musk, and I wouldn't count against him, right? So
Yeah.
um, it's something to keep in mind. But let's
One
continue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
go
thing I
ahead.
wanted to mention about is that they really don't even have competitors either. I would say Neo's up there, maybe Capital, Churchill, that EV is up there too, but I don't think they can compete head and head with Tesla. Like it's like Tesla at the top and then all of the other ones at the bottom, right? So I feel like with that and EV being the future, these projections do seem quite realistic, but again, the people that wrote this article, so Kathy Woods, they are bullish on Tesla, really bullish, as you can see by these. So um, I don't know. Would you invest in Tesla for long term hold, like potential long term gains?
Well, I think EV is here to stay. I'm just
Hmm.
looking at their. I'm just continuing to scroll down this report here, but
Right.
I mean, really, what I'm looking at here is that yeah, you mentioned that Tesla's on top of the board right now, but like CCIV, you mentioned Churchill Capital, like that's Lucid Motors, right? And I think they
Hmm.
have a great design. They're targeting the luxury EV vehicle space, right? So Tesla's currently sitting in that luxury category. They're trying to go into more of the general commercial for the average American, right?
Hmm.
But I think Neo dominates that space, right? Well, I don't know if they dominate it right now, but I think they're headed towards it. They're already so big in China, and they're going to expand more and more into the states. Um, if they're able to come up with a cheaper car than Tesla, maybe Neo is something that the average American will go for, right? And
Yeah.
then now you don't know where they're dominant because if Lucid's starting to take their share from the luxury vehicle market, and then you have Neo competing with them in the general average category for the average
Yeah.
American, then where are they really heads and shoulders above everyone, right? And that's just two companies. There's going to be more and more because Biden's promoting this agenda of like, okay, like clean, sustainable energy, renewable energy, and EVs and all that, right? So with that being said, like there's more subsidies available for startups that are trying to enter the space. So I think barriers to entry are going down, right? And that's going to lead to more competition. And you know what? I think if Tesla loses its spot at the top of the mountain, then it's going to be reflected in the share price. So um, I'm not an investor of Tesla at the current price. I do think
Hmm.
it's due for a correction just in the current market landscape.
Hmm.
Obviously, it's corrected quite a bit already. I still think that there's a little bit more downside to go. But if it does come to a valuation where I'm like, okay, yeah, like the upside is dramatically higher than the downside, then I will be a long-term investor because I do feel like the overall trend of EVs is here to stay. I just don't know if Tesla can stay the king of the mountain for very long, right?
You mentioned Neo trying to take over the U.S., but it could go opposite too, right? Because I'm sure Elon has this in his mind, right? China is a major market, and he wants to take over China as well. And I mentioned this when I brought up Neo that it is critical for them to have China in their like as one of their major markets, right? Because that's their home turf, right? If Tesla takes over there, then it's over for Neil. Like they don't have, I don't think they have a shot, right? So I'm sure that's in the mind of Elon, and
Yeah.
these projections definitely. I think they may have considered that because I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla takes over China. Even though I am invested in Neo, I think they're gonna do great. But Tesla is definitely looking at China as a market to expand in, like and surpass Neo, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a really interesting year,
I
a
mean,
couple of years ahead.
the X factor also is Apple. So if by
Oh yeah,
2025 they come up with their own Apple car, I think all bets are off. And then I'm really not going to be an investor in Tesla because I don't know if they can compete with Apple. But if Apple enters the space, I don't know. Like I think Apple kind of just jumps ahead of everyone, really, right?
but
Like
they
Apple.
haven't made an EV car before though. So how can you be so confident that they're gonna have like a top like a great model? Because they've only made like smartphones and Macs, right? Like I don't know,
See, they have all the resources available to them to go into
right?
that space, right? You also heard of a partnership with Neo, right? Potentially.
Yeah, I brought that up. Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. We brought that up before. There's other lidar companies that are out there, like Laser, for example, ticker
Hmm.
LAZR. Like they can partner with them. They can partner with Neo. They can combine their resources together. And Apple's strategic decision making is like second to none, right? So if they can get these resources around them, hey, who's to say they can't take over? And especially that Neo partnership with Apple, like that would really give Tesla a run for its money. So I would not put against. I can't count against Apple just because
Right.
of the value of that name in the market and how synonymous it is with our daily lives. If Apple
Yeah.
decides to go into the EV space, I think it does take Tesla for a big run.
Right, yeah. And back to this article, I just wanted to point out this key updates to the model. So it mentioned that they pushed their forecast price target towards 1 year to 2025, and they refined their estimates for Tesla's capital efficiency, and they added Tesla's insurance business to their model, and their assumptions for a human-driven ride-hail service are there, and they increased the probability of Tesla achieving fully autonomous driving within 5 years. So this last point right here, wanted to ask you, Deepak, and maybe for our viewers, drop your thoughts below in the comments. But what do you think? Will they have fully autonomous driving within 5 years? This is a
Well,
bold assumption.
my short answer is no, but they haven't said that either. I think they're just increasing the likelihood.
Yeah.
Um, Again, that's more of a bet on Elon. I don't think that comes within the next 5 years. So if you were going to ask me yes or no, I think the answer is no. But
Mhm.
they've reflected that in their bear case. So I'll give them a pass on that one.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out. Found that interesting. What else is there? There's electric vehicles, so they just go a bit on their analysis and
There's a lot there, and I think it would be better for our viewers to maybe just dive into that article by themselves, because there is quite a bit of extra detail that would take a while to cover. But if there is anything that our viewers like would like to highlight after taking a read of this article on their own, then we'd be happy to address that. But definitely do yourself a favor and just read it, because it's always interesting to see how the bear and bull cases are developed, especially from someone who is very bullish on the company.
yeah.
So, and Tesla is a very polarizing stock as well. So I think everyone should just take the time to just read a little bit more in depth this article. And if you have any questions, reach out to us for sure.
It's going to be fun to look back at this in 2025, and I can't wait till that day to see where how wrong or right this article were, how wrong and right we were. So one thing I also wanted to point out is that they published their model on GitHub, and just a quick look at that here in their model. So they have their investing model, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. Again, this is a great read. All the links will be in the description below, so be sure to check that out. And for those of you that are streaming the audio of this podcast, be sure to check out the video on YouTube for the previous segment and this segment, as we were sharing our screen for you to follow along better. So be sure to check out the video. With that being said, that wraps up our Tesla analysis.